And we are live. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Watch on my reviews. This is your boy James, where I'm here to give you my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. It's not going to happen in this video, but that's okay. We'll live to fight another day. Joining me, as you can see, she is live and on camera, Mrs. Best. I'll say what's up to her.
My Wi-Fi works again. I'm so happy. I felt like I interrupted your lives with my bad Wi-Fi in Mexico, but I'm back. Like, share, and subscribe to James's channel, please.
We was happy to have you here in any capacity, so do not worry about that. I was happy that you arrived. No worries, no worries. But yes, please subscribe to Mrs. Best channel. Any reviews or recaps I don't cover on my channel, we cover on her channel. So we are going to have Real Housewives of Beverly Hills come back. We are going to also have what is it called? The Valley Persian style. That will be on Mrs. Best channel. I am going to cover that with her. I'm also going to do joining when she does Love After Lockup. So I will be joining her as well. Yes, I am going to join. I am going to join.
Officially agreed. Oh my gosh.
I am going to join it. And so you guys make sure you support my girl. If you want to hear our opinions, you're going to subscribe to her channel so you don't miss an episode. Because believe me, based on what I'm hearing and what I plan to be seeing very soon here, y'all going to be in for a time, especially if I don't like what I see. Joining us always, you guys also need to subscribe to is my girl Q1 JTV here. She is also doing recaps as well. She has a lot going on those channels. She is funny as hell. I enjoy her. I listen to her literally when I'm cleaning up, y'all, and I almost fell over twice. Y'all know I'm still recovering from this knee surgery, and I almost fell over twice because she is that funny. So if you guys want a good laugh, y'all pay my girl a visit, subscribe to her channel, tell her James sent you. So yes, and welcome back, Kiwan. We appreciate you being here, my love. So let's go ahead and get into this mess. I'll tell you, I want Carlos to pull the plug on this show. I really do. We start this episode off with Trish. She is at her house and Tisha comes over. And I guess they were going to do like a little, potluck dinner or whatever it is Tisha brought over there to cook at her house. And when I tell you, I was like, Lord, well, this scene is so forced, but whatever. So they're talking about what happened, the night that Nell had lost it. And even Trish was like, Nell was talking too loud. That's a trigger for me. And I'm like, so we all just going to be on the hate Nell train over here. So Trish, you jumped on the bandwagon as well. The only person who ain't quite made it over there is Destiny, and we still looking at her with a side eye. So Trish is basically saying what Letitia and Kimmy are saying, that Nell was being loud and everything, and it just went all hell broke loose. And I'm looking at her like, oh God, here we go. And Tisha's like, yeah, I didn't even do nothing. I asked Nell if she was leaving LA to see her grandbaby. That's all I said. She told us that. And I'm looking at her like, that's not the fucking point, first off. So if we really peel back the layers of what this is, we're talking about whether or not Nell knew she had a grandchild or not. What difference does it fucking make at the end of the day? What difference does it make? So y'all mad because she left because she was having a grandbaby? Y'all act like Destiny and Lance were married. And she just broke woman code to go be with her son. Ooh, that didn't even sound right coming out of my mouth because there is no code. They weren't married. They weren't even dated, and quiet as kept. Destiny probably didn't even give him none because she said she don't give anybody none. So what do we have to argue about? So once I leave that topic alone, they then talk about Tisha going to go see her mama. Her mama is doing a soft launch of her food truck. So she wants Trish to come as well. And Trish looks at her and says that she's going to be in Miami for her son's birthday. So she's not going to be able to make it. And she goes, oh no, like I was really hoping that you would make it and everything. And I just said, this is so fake and phony. Oh my God. I can't with Tisha. And then the last thing they talk about is, Trish saying that she's going to therapy because she asked how Kim was. And if, she said they were doing better. And she goes, I'm doing great after my first therapy session. Like I got through so much. And, I went to go see my parents' grave and everything, which is really big. So It's a lot to unpack here. They gave us a mouthful. So, Mrs. Best, how'd you feel about the conversation with Tisha and Trish?
They don't even have like a structured plan to take down Nell. Even if what is Nell's son's name? I can't remember that. Lance. Even if Lance and Destiny did sleep together and were in a legit relationship, you don't get to question her about her family or her grandkids. Because I promise you, Tisha, if Nell was questioning you about how your kids is doing with all the rumors coming out from your husband, or if anybody was questioning Kimmy about her wanting to use her kid for a storyline, they would feel away. Don't question nobody about their kids, especially their grandkids. That's disrespectful. Then you got the mother of them kids who could feel away. It's rude and it's distasteful, and they know that. It's like y'all choose to disrespect Nell, but then you don't want her to even say anything back to you. I personally am mad at Nell for accepting Kimmy's apology. I would have been like, fuck you, bitch. Go fall in that pool that you wanted to dunk me into. How about that? Ain't no way. I would have pushed her in the pool. How good is your wig glue, ho? I would have pushed her right in the pool. Maurice wants you wet and you're probably not getting there, which is why he always begging for sex. What's next? You could have read that lady for filth and had every right to, because Nell wasn't yelling that loud, one. Two, the topic you were asking her about was not appropriate. And three, just because somebody say something that you don't like doesn't mean you have a right to threaten to throw them in a pool. It's up every time I see you bitches on sight. Since you want to throw me in something, every time I see you, I be pushing her in front of traffic, pushing her in the pools. I be putting my foot out when she walked by, hoping she tripped. Stop it, Kimmy. Stop it. And so I don't care for the Scotts at all. I don't like these people or their broken marriages.
I'm not with it either, but I just felt like that was very trivial, and I feel like Trish is definitely the follower that I thought she was, because there's no way you actually felt in your mind that Nell was wrong in that situation. It did look like a gang up. It did look like y'all were trying to chastise her for Destiny, which was stupid. Because at the end of the day, what
For
are we
her
talking
son.
about?
And that's the other thing. They're
Yeah,
all moms. You expect Nell to side with you bitches over her kids and her blood? The grandchild is her blood. Her son is her blood. If I was Nell, I'd be like, fuck you, fuck Destiny, fuck your couch, fuck this, fuck the situation, and fuck this show. You're not going to come between me and mine. Because that's
that's how
why
I feel too.
everything that we get with Nell, we see Chris Fletcher. I can't say that, Kimmy. I cannot say that, Letitia. Y'all so focused and mad at Nell, you need to focus on why your men not happy and in the home. Because one of your men is running around getting DUIs with lipstick on his lips, and the other one is alleged to be sleeping with all sorts of people and have experience with NDAs. So y'all worried about the next one. You can't even keep your own men interested.
That's all this is. This is all a deflection, so we don't have to talk about y'all business. That's all this is. Y'all are so focused on Nell because y'all can't make Melody the topic of conversation. Now y'all can't go with her and Martell. Martell ain't bringing coleslaw on the show, so he is just a picture of capacity on his chest. That's all he's doing. So it's like, what else can y'all do? So yeah, y'all got to go after Nell because that's the only person that y'all can gang up on. So y'all don't have to talk about y'all real shit. It's very annoying. So that first part of the episode really annoyed me, but it annoyed me more that Trish didn't want to stay neutral. At least with Destiny, which we'll get to, at least she tried to stay neutral. And I say try with a very
Trish is a
big
pick me.
if. Yeah.
Trish is a pick me. Trish don't care to be neutral. Trish is going to align with whoever will side with her. Trish is a pick me.
She is.
Trish needs to worry about getting a divorce. Figure out your own life, Trish, before you have an opinion on anybody else's stuff.
Yeah, but speaking of Trish, we can go ahead and move on to her segment. She goes and meets up with Dr. Francis again. And I felt this conversation was highly interesting. So I'm just going to point out the key things that I thought was very interesting. So, he has this board up and he has a whole bunch of, words and points of drawings that lead to certain points of her life and everything. So he asked her about where is she with the father of her children, and she goes, oh, we're currently separated. He goes, how long have you been separated? She goes, about 6 years. And he goes, oh, well, you left him physically, you haven't left him emotionally. And you see that, and in the scene, she hurried up and got off that subject. And she said, well, I have moved on. His name is Ken, and he's really great with my kids. You know, at first I got jealous a little bit because they would just go to him instead of coming to me. So I felt like I was just left out and everything. And then Dr. Ken points out that, you know, you're kind of like a pistachio. You stay guarded and you stay in protection mode, self-protection all the time. And he goes, do you ever think to unpack that? And she goes, no. And he goes, He goes, but I'm really proud of you for going to see your parents. I thought that was very big of you, which I do agree with. That is very big. If she's never been to the gravesite and they've been gone all this time, yeah, that is very big of her. I will give her that. But some of that conversation, I'm not going to talk about everything in this counseling session, but what I will say is that I found it very interesting that she skated over unless they edited it out, which I don't believe they did. Dr. Francis part about him saying that you left your husband physically, you just didn't leave him emotionally, because that's all we're saying too. Any YouTuber that you come across YouTube that reviews the show has all said it seems like she left him physically, but emotionally he's still there. And I do feel like that as well. I feel like if you were to win the lottery tomorrow and call Trish and say, come home, her ass is hop, skipping in and jumping in that car and gone. I'm sorry. I don't believe that it's really like this emotionally with Ken, at least not yet. Mrs. Best, how do you feel about that part?
I'm gonna say this: if a woman is done, I think though R. Kelly has done some egregious things, he was right. When a woman's fed up, there's not much you can do about it. She's not fed up if she's still dealing with him. Because when a woman is done, we're done. We're fucking done. Like, we cannot stomach the sight or the thought of you. So I'll say that about her marriage. Is this the scene where she was talking about she jealous of her?
That, which I thought was also.
Let me tell you this.
Took that a grain of salt. I did.
She's doing everything she can to try and make us like Ken. Because a lot of women on the internet, I'm sorry, y'all are slow. And I see why y'all struggling with dating. Because a lot of them are praising Ken like he came and helped her and did this. I said, wow, somebody paying a bill will do a lot for you. So Catholic Charities will do the same thing, y'all. But I don't understand why nobody is looking at Ken like he's not also a bad guy. He is problematic. He sought out a woman that was in a relationship, started talking to her when she was married, got her to become emotionally invested in her, probably gave him some good dick. The only thing they seem to have in common is working out. They don't seem to get along outside of that. They have skipped all sorts of steps of being boyfriend and girlfriend, and he is acting like he's this great guy because of how he raises the kids. But the moment stuff goes wrong with them, he's done giving money. He's bringing up all that he does. Nobody is that great when they throw what they do for you in their face. Like, if you was just there for the kids and engaging with the kids, Ken, I would feel different. But you remind her, us, the camera, in every opportunity he's on camera. He reminds us of all that he does for the kids, which tears down her as a mom and Marquez as a dad. So I don't think he's a good guy. I think I've said this before. I think Ken seeks out women that are unavailable, plays Captain Save-A-Ho so that he can make himself feel superior and better than other men. Pull a bitch that's not belonging to someone else, and then we'll see how great Ken really is.
And then have your own children too, by the way.
Yeah, and see how this is. Because until you have your own kids, mind you, me and James both do not have kids, but we both share this same opinion. If you don't have kids, sometimes you just don't fucking get it. And that's okay.
Right.
People with kids understand that, so we don't always need y'all telling us that. But, you know, if you don't have kids, you don't get it all the time, especially if you're a man. I feel like women, because we're made to be mothers, can kind of get it even if we don't have them. But Ken doesn't get how rude he is, how much he's going to impact the kids being this way. Like, I don't like Ken. And Trish, Trish is bullshit. And the doctor did the right thing by acknowledging her small wins. But he also looks kind of like, I seen the Dr. Francis like, oh, you did that soon, huh? Because most people don't have breakthroughs they first session, they second session, hell, they third session. It's given Trish is going to try and make this therapy thing look good and look like she's getting the most out of it so that she can get out of it and stop going as soon as she can. Yep. It's also given that she's doing this because she's on TV and she knows that it will be received well. The other reason it could be is that she's doing it because Ken asked her to, and that's not good either, because you got to go to therapy because you want to, not because someone suggested or asked you to.
Oh yeah.
So I'm sick of Trish. I'm sick of her.
Well, here's the thing, and this is another thing that will bother me with that conversation, because it was also mentioning, of her being jealous of, him having a great relationship with the kids, and it's like, you and Marquez are both mirroring the same thing, because that's the same shit Marquez said last season, that he doesn't respect him because he didn't come to him, and why being, he don't want him to have no relationship with his kids. Some shit he said that didn't make no fucking sense. He's in the house with them. He's going to bond with them. He's going to be there. Trish moved him in right away. So why would he not bond with your children? And then for Trish to kind of echo that too, that she kind of felt the way that the kids was coming to him. I'm like, well, what did you bring him in the house for? And why would you move him in so quickly?
If you didn't want your kids should feel comfortable to come to him. And that shows, okay, he may be good to the kids, but to get jealous of that, I don't know. Any moms in the comments? I know Key wants somebody's mama. I know Shani's somebody's mama. I feel like you want your boyfriend, if it's taken to the next step, to be around your kids, and you want your kids to feel comfortable enough to ask him things. That seems normal. But Trish also moved this man in too soon. I feel like it needs to be against the law for women to move another man in before the other one is fully divorced.
I agree.
Because it looks like, based on what Marquez explained and what Trish said, like he wasn't quite under the impression that they was not going to get back together or try to work on things. So Trish is wrong, and she's talking about the wrong things in therapy, and she's probably going to keep doing that because she's just going to therapy to keep things between her and Ken cool. But Carlos, the show is called Love and Marriage Huntsville. All I've seen you do is make a mockery of Black love with your platform.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do
because this is
different.
not positive. Like, it's not positive to see a woman who's still married to a man that she's been separated from according to her words 6 years, and then has a living with a whole nother man, and then has no intention to get out of that divorce right then and there. Because let me explain something to y'all. I would have been divorced a long time ago.
Oh yeah,
I'd have been divorced a long time ago. It wouldn't even have gotten to year 3.
Especially I might give you. Trish was the one with the assets and who got stuff. Marquez ain't got nothing really, so she not gonna lose much or have to go through much in the damn divorce. She wants to be married to this man.
She does. It's very obvious. And so she, as I said, it's one of those situations where I feel like Marquez does what Ken cannot do, and vice versa. I think Ken does what Marquez cannot do. I think that she has like literally a conflict of interest. Like, it's like, what do I go with? Which one is more equal? Okay, he's stable. He got the money. He got the good job. He has this going on. This one I've been with all my life, and I know what that thing do, and that's probably why I can't let go of him too quickly. I'm telling you, women do compartmentalize in that way. So that's why she probably has not divorced him. It's not that, oh, he won't participate in anything. You get a divorce without people nowadays.
Yeah,
you don't even need them. You don't even need the person to come to divorce.
She wants to still, for whatever reason, be married, and she's gonna stay that way. Trish is annoying. She's tiresome.
She is. Kids. Yeah, I do too. Because I hope that at least they look like they got some sort of, mental stability of, especially her son, when he was very articulate about how he felt about her.
I think his son will be okay. I don't know about the daughter. Her son was raised with his mom and daddy for most of his life. Right. The daughter is having to be raised watching her dad be belittled, disrespected, also not living with the dad, not knowing the dynamic of the mom and dad together, and then hearing the arguments that mom and dad are having. Because one thing I see about Trish is she likes to argue in front of her kids. I don't actually respect her as a mom. She may have kids that came out good. A lot of fucked up people do. But I actually think she's more damaging for them. I think they might do better living with Marquez or their grandparents, because you brought this man around your kids way too soon. That's not safe. And you have a daughter that's still young. The boy is at least big enough to, defend himself should anything happen. And I'm not accusing Ken of anything, but I just think that's irresponsible to do when you have kids. You had brought the man in the house, had him living there, had him around the kids so much that they could ask him for stuff. He should not be around like this. So Trish, I don't know why more people don't come for her. She's terrible.
I agree. So moving on from there, I'm actually going to get Ken and Trish out the way. I'm going to talk about the next thing. They actually meet up for lunch, and they go and talk, about her therapy session, how he's going. He goes, I'm so happy you're going to therapy because I've been preaching for you to go to therapy for all this time. And I thought that was so insulting. I felt like that was very insulting because it just looks at the relationship from his POV. You need to go to therapy as well. Like Kiwan said, Kiwan, where are you at? You need to go to therapy too. Because there's shit that you do that isn't healthy as well. And I think that there's some of it that she's also fighting against herself, when it comes to you, especially when you throw in her face all that you do for her. When her car broke down, you talking about you was the one to get it fixed. When her son needed a car, you were the one that bought it. It seems like when Mad Day comes, you like to throw in her face what you do to let her know that you have dominance over her. So you need to go to therapy as well. We're not letting that shit go. We're really not. So for you to sit up there and try to point out, oh, she needed to go this whole time, when both of y'all brought your asses on this show talking about y'all go to the gym to go away from therapy, Kim, get away from us with this. Because I was insulted that he actually said that to her face, and she's so damn stupid that she didn't even pick up on that. Because there's no way a man would tell me I need to go to therapy when his ass is just as messed up as mine is. So yes. But yeah, that shit pissed me off. I had to go off for a little bit on a tangent, y'all. I'm sorry. You normally do not do this. I usually explain the scene away and then I go bad. But the fact that he said that just made me feel like, Trish, yeah, you definitely in it for the security. And you couldn't convince me otherwise at this point. You definitely in this for the security. And so they talk, about where they are, and they're glad that things are getting better between them, and that was pretty much it. They didn't really say nothing worth talking about other than that part that pissed me off. Is there anything else you want to add, Mrs. Best?
Both of them are liars. I just want to remind everyone that therapy does not work that fast, that it's going to suddenly improve your relationship, get you crying every day and fixing all of that. That's all.
Yeah, because he was talking about, I see a big difference in you since you've been going, and then
that long.
Yeah. No. Yeah, it was bullshit for the show, and that's what made me feel like it was fake. And then the fact that he just gaslit and that shit went over her head was crazy for me. I'm sorry. Any
that's
man
how
that point,
he's not working, because Dr. Francis called that out, her emotional connection to the other man, which I see what Dr. Francis is doing. He gonna
me too.
Slowly remind her of that till she sees it, and eventually he gonna bring Ken in that session, and I feel like Ken and him will clash.
I think this too. Like we all said this when we recapped the show the last season. We did say that we feel like he does have, I don't really think it's superhero syndrome, but it is. I was corrected on that. So I will, retract that. It is superhero statement. But the thing about it is, I don't like calling someone a superhero when they get mad, they throw what they've done in your face. To me, that's a cop out. Like, that's just not a Superman.
It is technically, but it's about how the person doing it feels,
Right.
not to call him a superhero. That's the only difference. Because in his mind, when someone has that, they feel like Captain Save-A-Ho. That's what I call it. I had a teacher that laughed at me for saying that too, but that's how I call it. He feels like a superhero by what he's doing. And it's actually evil to me, because single moms, shout out to all the single moms. I'm estranged from my mom, but she did do a lot of our childhood single, and she had 4 kids, and that's difficult. James had a single mom. Most of my friends had a single mom. Single moms are amazing. Single moms are true superheroes and superstars, but superheroes and superstars are overworked, tired, and underpaid. It is notorious. Right. And when you are overworked, tired, and underpaid, when somebody comes in and is willing to do those things, it's hard to see it as negative. You want to accept it, especially when you're so busy and have kids going on and don't have a moment for you. So to me, Ken is worse than Trish. And in some ways, Trish is a victim to his bullshit. Even though she's got her dirt too, I really do think a lot of how she moves is from a space of trauma. And I hope that she continues with therapy, even though Ken suggested it, because I think if she continues with therapy, she'll move away from him and become more likable on the show.
I do agree with that. And Kiwan, this comment cracked me up. That's why my guy, Dr. Francis' eyes are red. Them O's on that show stress him out. I mean,
Dr. Francis
is yes.
And in the psychology community, I appreciate the work that he does. And I think that is the truth. He looking at these hoes like, Jesus, I'm glad I don't have to.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because I feel like it started with Tiffany, And then it's now leading to Trish where they don't want to accept his help. They don't want to accept anything he's doing. They want to live in their delusions of grandeur. And I'm just like, okay. Because I remember that couples therapy he had with was it Maurice, Kimmy, Tisha, Marceau, and then Lewis and Tiffany. And Tiffany was all like, I don't need this. Me and Lewis's relationship is perfect. And, everything we have is great. And, I'm busy. Lewis knows I need to take this business call. And I'm looking at Tiffany like, girl, if y'all relationship was so perfect, you wouldn't be here. Stop it. And that's how I feel about Trish. I feel like, Trish, if you really, and yeah, Dr. Francis is going to get her. She going to have a session where she going to be like, let me start putting shit together. And yeah, it don't add up. So yeah, nice little way to get them out the way because I was done with them. So now we're going to move on to Tisha. So Tisha is getting together with Kimmy and Destiny. They're going up to, I forgot where Tisha is from already, just that quick, and I didn't write it down in my notes. It's a little town all outside of Birmingham, small little town. I think it's called Bethlehem or whatever shit is called. Anyways, they are going up there and they're talking, and Destiny asked Tisha why isn't Trish and Nell here. Tisha said that, well, Trish had to work. Bessemer, thank you so much. You know what's funny? There's a movie I love that's based out of that town. And now that I'm seeing it, I'm like, damn, I couldn't remember that. Shit, that's crazy. But so they're driving up. She said, well, Trish had to work. And I'm looking at Tisha like, Trish told you she going to Miami for Xavier's birthday. What are we talking about, Tisha? And see how shit get twisted in the background. You see how they did that? Go back and watch that first scene and Trish tell her exactly what she was doing. Y'all see how Tisha moved? Just messy. And then the next thing we see was Nell. The conversation tells around Nell. She goes, and I ain't invited. You think I'm gonna invite Nell after what she did? And they talk about Nell. And Kimmy was all like, yeah, she was just hollering and yelling and stuff. And I had to even beg her to even go and talk to Tisha and everything. And
Kimmy is full of it because the only reason you had to beg to talk to her is because you threatened her. Dumb bitch, you from Baltimore. You know what it is. Stop acting, Kimmy. That's why nobody like you and your man got that lipstick in his mugshot.
So she was all like, yeah, see, now I'm not with all that yelling and stuff. Why does she feel like she need to yell at everybody? And Destiny said, well, that's how she feels it's an ambush and that you guys are ganging up on her because you're always yelling at her. So she feels she needs to yell back. And they're like, that's not what happened, Destiny. That's not what happened. She was yelling. Even Trish had to tell her to stop yelling. And I'm looking at them like, oh my gosh. I have never seen two grown-ass women literally rewrite a story. Y'all were ganging up on her because y'all are questioning her about business that has nothing to do with neither one of you unless one of y'all are fucking Lance. And even then, that ain't even none of y'all business still. Until you married him.
Last season, Kimmy, you didn't even want nobody questioning Maurice's DUI.
Thank you.
Your whole beef of being mad at Nell is because her husband questioned some stuff with your husband or said something. So it's just looking like the pot calling the kettle. Y'all could dish it out, but you can't take it at all. And Trish is a terrible example to use to help your plight when this lady's on camera yelling and screaming and arguing with her husband in front of her kids and her new boyfriend. Trish don't count. Kimmy and Tisha need to go. They're just miserable. They're just miserable.
And I do think that they are trying to ice Nell out. I don't know why. Because realistically, none of y'all are telling y'all business. So what else is there to go? Y'all just gonna put everything on the back of Trish and Ken?
We don't have a show if we leave stuff up to Kimmy and Letitia.
Right.
We've never had a show because of them. The show was only interesting in the beginning, primarily because of Melody and honestly Martell. The only time Tisha was interesting was when we met her as a housewife with a whole degree that she wasn't using for Marceau.
Like, I'm gonna give Tisha two things.
Get away from him. So it's like, bitch, you found your voice, kind of. Kinda, because when you first came on this show, Letitia, you could barely leave the house without permission. Now you found your voice and you want to get at somebody else. No. And the sad thing about it is, I believe every rumor about the Scott men. I do, because these women would not be this pressed if it wasn't true. Because
First of all, yes, I do agree. I was going to mention this later on in the thing because it does come up a topic. But the fact that Maurice had to ask Martell what his dick looked like told me everything I needed to know. Because why would you ask somebody that if you didn't do it? So come on. Instead of just saying I was not there and you can't prove I was there. That's what you tell somebody. No, I didn't do it. Y'all, I'm talking to everybody. If you know you're not guilty of something, the answer is no, I did not do it. There's nothing that shows me there. Not me. Sorry. I don't know who you got me confused with. Not me. And I'm gonna get on her in a minute, Kiwan. I'm gonna get on her in a minute because that's what I feel like is one of the issues there. Um, do they try to ice that out because she's really a friend of Mel and they really don't like Mel? They can't press on her the same way they could Mel. I think that that's the difference. I think that Nell really is about that life and she'll fight as she'll prove. The last episode, Nell looked like she would get down with them if it really came down to it. And they can't control her the same way you see Trish over there intimidated by them and she just succumbs to whatever. And Destiny needs to check. So she's going to be on their side just because it's logical. So, if you have to beg someone to talk, maybe that person really don't want to talk. Yeah, it's just they're trying to do it to prove a point that realistically doesn't hold water because once again, Destiny and Lance were not a couple. They were not married. We don't even know if they even slept together. There's no ties. They were friends that probably wanted to see if they can do something together, but I really feel like Destiny was using him for the show. I really do. That's just my opinion. Why would a straight man ask another straight man what his penis looks like? That's weird. Yeah, and see, that's the problem with the Scott brothers. They tried to use this word salad, as Heather Gay calls it, word salad, to where they try to confuse you to make you stop talking about the subject that they're probably guilty of. They both do it. They do it with their wives. And so they exhaust you to the point to where you don't even feel like bringing it up anymore because they've exhausted you with the word salad. That's what they both do.
I would like to say, though, that every straight man I know that saw that scene, my husband included, were like, that's a weird thing for a man to ask, regardless of being an attorney. That's a weird, like, most straight men would not go in that direction. And they insinuating that Maurice may not be so straight because no straight man on God's green earth would ask another one, you saw it, what does my dick look like? If a man walk in on another man fucking somebody, they not gonna go and look at the dick unless they like and want and or interested in the dick themselves. So that didn't work out for Maurice. I couldn't even say that was a good example of word salad. I feel like Maurice got caught, panicked, and that's all that came out. I feel like that was the one time we saw him sweat, but his way of, catching him sweat probably looks different because I can promise you, not a heterosexual man on the planet would ask.
No, they don't. But that's why I say it's the word salad because that's what they're trained to do. They're trained to give you like this whole
it's word salad. I think he panicked and that's what he came up with because there are lots of men who are straight attorneys who are trained to speak, trained to think, and all of that. Even the most trained people are still human and will panic. The embarrassment he had in his face when he said that, Mr. Maurice, I'm looking at him with the side eye. I feel like Maurice's discretions are 50 times worse than anything Marceau would have done.
That's why I'm saying, and see, and Marceau does it in a way where he just questions, why would I be there? What purpose would I have to do that? Why would I need that?
That's what
why would I
yes. But when you asking somebody what your dick look like, that let me know you might have been looking at one. So I'm just
no, I get what you're saying, but that's what I'm saying. They both do this where they're trying to turn it to exhaust you from even bringing it up. And I feel like they do it like he does it with Tisha all the time. I can tell he does it. And I'm sure Maurice does it with Kimmy, where they do this where instead of giving a straight answer like Wanda said, they go around it to try to get you exhausted. And we'll get to that in a minute because I'm going ahead of the episode. But that's pretty much all they talked about in that little stretch, man. But they get to Wanda's little food truck. It's purple. It has her picture on it. I was too busy looking at the extension cord that was hanging out of it. I'm sorry. I look at little small stuff like that because I don't know how those things are supposed to work, but just some about that just didn't look authorized to me. It just didn't. But she has, her food truck is supposed to be a gourmet of baked potatoes, and you can have them loaded with certain things. That's what her food truck is supposed to be. It's a creative concept, but I'm not.
Eat there if you want to end up shaped like Wanda.
So they sit down and Wanda joins them. Wanda says she's back, y'all. Miss Wanda is back and she finna stir up the whole pot. Now that Melody has left the show officially, Wanda now can come back. So Wanda is like, what's going on? And which
She
everything.
was missed. I'm sorry, Wanda. Do you think that you were missed? Because as someone who is not a Love and Marriage Huntsville fan, I looked at the comments, old recaps from other YouTubers. I ain't seen not one person say nothing nice about Miss Wanda. Not from Bondi Blue to Kim Pyre to the random person commented on Instagram. Why did she announce her being back as if anybody was happy to see her ass? I'd also like to state, I ain't never met nobody named Wanda who wasn't problematic or a bit touched, if you know what I mean. Oof. That's all. Never. And I've met a few Wandas. They was all crazy as hell.
Yeah, I have to agree. I don't know, but Wanda was something else. So she's like, what's going on? So Tisha, Mama, there's this lady. You remember Nell, right? And she said, Nell who? She got Nell, the lady that, they used to be around us all the time. Her husband named Chris. She said, that old lady Nell? She said, yeah. She goes, she was over there talking to me, talking crazy and stuff, yelling, who talking crazy? What'd she say? Tisha. She's, Mama, she just said all this, trying to blame me for, her husband. And she had made a joke about Marcel, talking about the NDA and everything. And I'm looking at Tisha like, why is you telling your mama like you 5 years old? Like your mama finna go over there and whoop that kid's ass. It was like, Tisha, what the hell? Even Destiny.
Your mama didn't like Marcel. So why would your mama feel the need to defend him or your marriage? This is for TV.
This is for TV. Yeah. Destiny and Kimmy both putting their head down like, oh shit, she about to let out a can of worms. And even Kimmy in her confession said, I don't think this was the best idea that Tisha had. Like, I don't think that you should have told your mama that. And then did she say that, she said she threatened to whoop Kimmy ass after Kimmy throw her in the pool and stuff. And they were all like, why would you say that? Like, why would you leave that? Like, why would you even tell her that? And she goes, don't worry about it. That's my baby.
Kimmy threatened her after we were questioning her about her granddaughter.
Right.
And Destiny, who's right there. Like, why? Like, Tisha. When I say to you that Letitia Scott, I've never seen a damn near 50-year-old woman lacking a neck run to her mama like she was pushed in the mud by some sixth graders while she was in the second grade.
I'm saying, just that was childish. That was really stupid. And she said, well, she ain't saying nothing directly to me. She had told Destiny something, and that's how. So Wanda looked at that. Also, you caring about Destiny? She goes, well, no, Tisha told me that this was the reason they had to leave somewhere and everything. She goes, oh, when can I come to Huntsville so I can confront her? When can I come to Huntsville, Tisha? Tisha, you can come to Huntsville anytime you're ready. You can come to, and then they're all shaking their head like, no, Tisha, no. And she said, oh, and Kimmy, while we at it, this is Miss Wanda, Kimmy. So what's going on with Maurice and that hoe? Kimmy said, what hoe are you talking about? The hoe. The one that Martell and them had on that video. You see that video, Kimmy? She said, I mean, I saw a little bit of it. That's not a factor in there, anything. She's like, well, what did Maurice say happened? She goes, well, Maurice didn't say anything that happened. There was nothing in that video, Wanda. She go, oh, nah, there's always some truth somewhere up in there. I'm just saying, if he ain't give me no direct no, then that means that there's something he did it, especially if he looked like he'll do it. Yeah, he did it. Mm-hmm. She said, something wrong with you, Kimmy. In her confession, she said, I don't know why Kimmy's in denial like this. And I agree with Wanda. I do think that Kimmy is turning a blind eye. But at the same time, we know Kimmy's going to do that because Kimmy comes from a time where it's better to have a man and know he ain't shit than to be single. That's what I really feel like is Kimmy's problem. I do feel like because the shit that Maurice is accused of is outlandish and is crazy as hell. And I feel that, she just accepts it. First off, we have him not cooking, not cleaning. Then his son comes to live with him. His son's not cleaning up, putting that on you. You get cancer. Then he talking about he requires all this sex from you, even though you're going through all of this. Then there's rumors about him cheating. So you mean to tell me, Kimmy, that everything is fine and you're just hunky dory and everything is there? Okay, Kimmy. Okay. So, Wanda say, yeah, but I'm gonna get down to the bottom of this. I'm gonna get the bottom of Miss Nail and that situation. I'm gonna get down to the bottom of this. And I say, if you all know anything about Miss Wanda, she gonna get down to the bottom of this for sure. Because she gonna ask all the questions. I love when Wanda questioned them about their raggedy ass ninjas. You know,
I don't. Let me
I
tell you why.
don't either. Yeah.
The reason I don't, it's not fair. It's interesting. You want to run to your mama because you feel disrespected by Nell after some Nell didn't even do to you. You really mad at Chris Fletcher, Letitia, from what we keep hearing. But how is it any different from Nell's plight and her having to defend her son Lance, which she's telling y'all she does not want to do? So now you're going to send your mama to do exactly what Nell is not doing for her own child who could stand up for himself. It just doesn't make any sense. It's not fair. I didn't like how Wanda moved because it's like, why you put your mom in this position? Miss Wanda's back because Melody didn't want her here allegedly, but it looked like nobody was excited about her here. Kimmy was nervous, wasn't looking forward to it. Destiny didn't want to really go. Nobody cares for Miss Wanda but her child and maybe her grandchildren. Her son-in-law don't even like when she come on TV. He showed his disdain on national television for his mother-in-law. So I don't understand this Wanda lady. The other thing is you must have raised a weak bitch if you got to defend your 40-something-year-old daughter against a lady that's probably just 10 years older than her. So I can't understand that. Also, Letitia, I call her Shade. Y'all want to call old lady Nell? Well, Wanda, if your daughter coming to you to go handle old lady Nell, don't that make you one of the old ladies too? I don't understand it. And it's always a bitch without a husband that got something to say about somebody else's husband.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you left him or any of that. Yes, these rumors are likely true because they keep coming about, but obviously Kimmy is okay with it. Kimmy is a pick-me. Kimmy is a wishy-washy bitch. So let Kimmy have her cheating husband and, overcome sexual pleasure after cancer and all this crazy stuff. Like they know their marriages ain't shit. Bringing back Miss Wanda was not the boom, in my opinion, that OWN thought it would be. It was just messy. And I'm looking at this lady like, okay, so you gonna come and handle Miss Nell. When you got time for that if you steaming baked potatoes in the truck? Like, when do you have time for that? Shouldn't you be figuring out your business and doing that? Like, I don't understand any of it.
I don't either.
I just don't. Everybody's mad at the wrong person. Just wanted to talk about Destiny, a bone collector, and saying this stuff about Nell when it seems like the problem, if we get to the root of everything, from what Nell is saying to Destiny's issue with Lance to Trisha's opinion, it all comes back to Maurice and Marceau. If they wasn't doing shit, there'd be no rumors coming out about wives. There'd be no lives and podcasts. And Tisha, if you didn't go on the internet when the show was not in season to drag and expose every piece of Martell's secrets that you knew, then maybe they wouldn't have come for you so hard, and then Chris Fletcher wouldn't have been brought into it. So all of this comes back to Tisha and her husbands. Just shut the fuck up and put y'all cigarettes out, and then you won't deal with that. But to bring this old ass lady in her potato truck on the show to just talk about a bunch of people and get people together, I don't like people like that. Because why are you so excited to jump into some business that don't got nothing to do with you, that you don't understand, Wanda? That tells me you got too much time on your hands and might need a man. So I can't understand it. I just can't.
I can't either. Hey Shana, thank you for being here, my love. I appreciate you so much. Um, Let me go to these comments. Hold on, y'all. Let me see before we end this live. Who's 16 years older than her to be exact? Nell is
Now,
older. Nell is 16 years older than Tisha. Oh wow. She a lot older than I thought she was. Okay.
that's why I'm saying you send to your mom. Her mom said, "Old lady Dale." I said, "Lady, you the same lady's age. Calling somebody old, and you at 60 plus years old cooking potatoes in a truck instead of retiring. Shut up, Wanda. Go sit down, Lord."
Kimmy Carson is straight with that age shaming because her and Linnell about the same age. I think she's older than Nell, isn't she? I think Shayna ain't Kimmy like in her 60s? I believe she is. Because I know she's 10 years older than Marie, so because that was their whole big old deal when they first got on the show. So yeah. I love that y'all saying hey to each other. I love this. I love my interaction. Be clear, Tisha is very unsettled because she don't trust Marcel.
We don't
We
care.
know, we
Stays
know,
with
but she gonna stay with him though to save face. That's what they do. Um, Wanda says she's two men's, a boyfriend and a husband like Trish. No, Wanda is 16 years old. Oh, so she had her at 16. Okay, got it, got it. I was gonna say I don't think Nell's that much older than Tisha. I don't. I know Kimmy. I thought Kimmy was in her 50s. She never said how much older she. Yeah, she did. First episode. I remember it because I was like, because they thought that people were going to make a big deal about it, about her being. I think if she's not 10 years older than him, she's at least 7 years older than him. She's older than him. Yeah. So 7 or 8 years older than him. Because I remember that was like when the first show first came out, she had said, "Oh my God, it's such a big deal. I'm marrying a younger man and all this." And I was like, that's not that big of a fucking deal. Like, as long as y'all happy, who the fuck cares?
It's a big deal when that younger man is playing you in your old age.
Right. They're right.
That's
Exactly.
good.
Because it's true.
You try to act like everything's a flex, but I'm like, you got to be a pick me if you make the decisions that she makes. I don't know why she's still here. And I used to really like Kimmy on the show.
Me too. She was
And
one of my favorites.
now I can't stand her.
She was one of my favorites. Like I loved her. Like,
All right, I'm gonna behave, y'all. I'm gonna watch my mouth. I'm sorry.
you got everybody up here cracking up. But that was pretty much the show, y'all. It was boring as hell. It was not much. I'm not that thrilled for Wanda to return and cause all this friction and all this mess. So I'm not
We literally
really.
watched an episode of people just talking about other people. And the more they talk about Nell and the situation, the more you guys are opening up for everybody to be reminded of all the rumors about your husbands and all the stuff that's going on. Just shut up and move on. It's dead. I keep saying it, but I'm showing up for James.
She sure is, y'all, because she ready to drop this show. I'll tell you. If we was on her channel, this show would have been dropped. I remember her saying she's older, but she wouldn't say exactly how many years. I heard it was like 8 years. She was dating Maurice for 7 years before they got married.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
7 years for a ring, bitch, please.
I don't think he was all the way divorced yet from
That's even worse.
what's that lady name that he's married to?
Iowa.
Kiowa. I never
Yeah.
can remember her name. Yes. I don't think they were fully divorced yet. I think
No,
that
that's
she
why she
can.
had a chip on her shoulder. And Kimmy was trying to act like it wasn't no big damn deal for the longest. That man came out the church and went in the sin. So, okay.
I forgot he was a pastor. I forgot about that. Oh Lord, this does not
That's why
help
I
his case.
say that's the shadiness right there. Y'all know when I used to sell cars, pastors are shady. They used to come in with your offerings buying cars for their side chicks. Trust and believe. That's why I say trust in the Lord, not in your pastor. He's human too.
Right. Bring back the DC love and marriage.
Was it canceled?
I don't know if it was canceled. I don't remember. Um, I do know that Winter left the show, so that actually would make sense um if they're not bringing it back because she was like the one that was actually bringing it, even when she was only a friend of. She was actually bringing it. Like it was like, oh my gosh, she need to be the main character. Why is she a friend of? I hate Love Marriage DC. It's more boring than Huntsville. I couldn't, I watched the first season and I was done after that. I was like, no, I'm good. Like I literally watched the first 3
I
episodes.
tried for Monique and was bored. I couldn't
Yeah,
get
I
through.
was.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
Love Marriage Detroit is worse. No, Okay, here's the thing. Love and Marriage Detroit is one of those travesties that should not have even been thought of. The fact that I can't stand none of them people, the fact that I actually put myself up to do it because I had no other shows, y'all. That show pissed me off to every end. So yeah, I don't want him to bring Love and Marriage
If
Detroit back
Carlos, I
ever.
always say this, if Carlos will do his hometown like that in production, there's no hope for him with shows. I think Carlos King needs to let go of production and stick to his podcast and interviewing and
Yeah, because
things
his
like
podcast is great.
I don't think he's good at this shit no more. I just don't. When they introduced the Dobines to me and brought back Dr. Minnie Mouse, I was like, oh, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. You introduced us to a couple when one of the men had a man bun and admitted to marrying his wife to get some coochie coochie. No, no. Ain't no way in hell. You said, well, that represents Black love in my city. I'm going to put it on TV. Carlos, why don't you do a show as a gay man about like a gay cast of people? I would
He
watch
knows
it.
he knows people won't watch that. No, he knows we ain't there
Ain't
yet.
nobody watching this shit barely either. Some of the lowest ratings of any reality television show on TV, streaming apps, and any network. So he ain't got nothing to lose. Hell, if Bravo got gays on TV and they can get popular and watch, that's why people excited for Shots of Sunset coming back because of the gay man and nothing else. So it can work to a certain extent, but he got to try something different because this is not working.
It's
He's too
not.
complacent, and complacency is never good.
Anytime you got to bring Wanda back to the show, like there's nothing here. There's nothing here. I don't want to see 2 old ladies battling out over some shit that ain't got
Right.
nothing to do with her daughter at the end of the day. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see someone have to defend their grandchild because some lady got her feelings hurt for, I guess, not being with him when she
But
was
she
learning
don't
the
know how to
lines.
be a hoe properly. Destiny swears she know how to move on niggas and be trying to act like she got the most game. Bitch ain't got no game. Because if she did, none of this would even be talked about or a storyline. We don't see Destiny with 3 different men in less than 2 seasons. Like, I don't take her seriously. And then she was crying over Moses when Sonny was here the last time. Destiny
That's
can go
somebody I
shit.
wish would have stayed on the show. I know y'all didn't like Sunny. A lot of people didn't like Sunny. I actually liked her. I did. And let me tell you why I liked her. I felt like for me, yes, what she did was grimy, but the fact that she can get under people's skin like that, the way she do, just because of her situation, and the fact that she wasn't really bothered by it, yeah, she could have been on the show.
That
Yeah.
doesn't make a good show, though. That just makes her someone that moved wrong, and eventually people would have had to get over it since she's with the man now. That don't bring for a good show at all. I mean, and I wasn't even too bothered by
I
how
wasn't
she
bothered by that at
moved.
all. I thought it
It
was
just
actually great.
she's definitely belongs behind the screen, not on the screen. I think she's just a
I think
regular
the show was better when
girl.
she had it. When she had the show, it was better. I'm just saying. Not when she was on it, when she had it. You don't
This
think it
show
was better?
I don't think this show has ever been it. I feel like this show is pretty much in the same spot it was when it started. The only difference is they removed the goal of their like comeback group. That's literally the only difference. But the same shit that was happening in season 1. Accusations of cheating, Martell and Marceau throwing shade, Tisha accepting bullshit. Like, honestly, this show is just a bunch of fucked up married couples that argue with each other, but they're all fucked up in their own ways. He got to figure it out. It's washed up. If you're going to do Love and Marriage Huntsville, actually have couples that stick beside each other and then interact with the group. I'd rather see that, but there's no unity amongst any of these couples. The only couple that has some type of unity is Nell and Chris, and that's because Chris owed Nell the world after cheating. So I don't. This is a terrible example of Black love.
It is. It's a
It
horrible
just
example. It's like it's become a show about ladies fighting about their children.
Can
Literally.
we please cancel it too so Martell can stop getting a check from his ex-wife?
Oh,
That
I
would
need
be
to
a
think about
great way for him to not get a check because this Negro is sitting up here getting paid by his ex. So I'll take care of my kids. No, Mel does. This was her shit. And you just here living off of it.
She had the builder's license. Just saying.
Yeah,
You know,
it's run its course. I think the
it
only thing
has.
Love and Marriage Huntsville would be to
They need a
erase the great
splash.
board, get
Yeah.
a full new cast, get rid of Trish and Ken too, because I don't care, and go from there. Because I think the Scots are in over their head. These people act like they're on a big network and are like huge celebrities. The Scots, and
Hmm.
looking at them, you could see the fame and being on television has gotten to their heads and how they interact with each other and others, and it's not fun.
Yeah. Would you keep anybody from this cast if they were to revamp and do a whole
No,
new cast? Anybody in the past?
no,
Okay.
nobody who's been on this show. I'm sorry. I know you love Tiffany. Not good
I
for
wasn't even gonna
reality
bring that
TV.
up.
I know you like her. I didn't care for her. Did not care for Sunny. I haven't cared for anybody I've seen on this show. I just haven't. And some of them, it's not even like a dislike. It's just like I feel like Carlos takes people who are not meant for TV and then put them on TV just because they fit the bill or have the income to do it. And yeah, he just needs a new cast. Like Destiny should not be here. She just shouldn't. Martell should have left when his ex-wife left. Kimmy and Maurice should have left when
Thank you,
they produced
Kiwan.
about it.
Thank you, Kiwan. Yes, I finally got somebody up here that loved Tiffany as much as I
James, you've
did.
been covering this show for a couple of years and multiple seasons and get hundreds of views an episode, and you found one person. You found a needle in a haystack.
That's
And
all
you
right. That's okay because me and Kiwan understand Tiffany's purpose on the show. Tiffany got the shit going. I'm sorry.
but it shouldn't be
Tiffany,
on one person.
it
And then the girl
shouldn't.
got hated
But
on and
but
bullied.
hey, listen to me. If I know my check is guaranteed, but I got to maneuver around these people because they won't tell their own business, and I have to be the messy one, yeah, I'm gonna do it for my check. Carlos, I need a raise. If you want me to spill all
They
this
need
shit,
to just change the cast, because if they change the cast to interested people, there wouldn't be a need for extra messy folk like Tiffany.
no,
There
she
wouldn't
was
be a
real. No, Tiffany
she
was really messy. Like when I tell you, I have never seen messy so defined in all of my life. Like,
oh, you messy and pregnant. Go sit down
yes, like she was,
with
but I wasn't
Lamont.
mad at it though. I just,
Yeah, like, but that's the thing. Shayna said it correctly, but she shouldn't have to have a purpose if the rest of the cast gives. Why is one person carrying a show for a couple of seasons? And then when she left, they just went to being mad at Mel. And now that Mel is gone, they want to gang up on Nell. And all it's doing is making us dislike them so much that we don't care and don't want to see them.
Tiffany's crass and funny. She moved the storyline, but of course, Scott 1.0 2 tried to bully her. They did until the shit didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
They did they did until the shit didn't work until Big Lou had to step to their asses like y'all ain't finna play with my wife. That's why they
Right.
off the show now. And I respect him for doing it. That's why I'm not mad that she's not on the show. I respect him for stepping up saying, hey, we can't do the show no more because I ain't finna have nobody come after you. That is what you call a real husband.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Um, I like Stormy as well. I like Stormy too, but I felt like she was too big for the show. Like
Yes.
I would have met. I felt like she could have been on Housewives.
She could have.
Like I
She
really do. I
definitely could
felt like if she were to go to Atlanta, she would fit right in. She
have.
really would have. She had the money, she had the access, she had the business, she had the brand. She had what a lot of them do not have. So yeah, and she was married and had a kid. So I felt like she could have definitely been on RHOA. I do. Um, and did she carry? It felt forced every time she started mess.
That's
Um,
the part for me that I'm trying to make the point. I'm glad Shayna said it, because if it feels forced or like you're doing it to keep your check, I don't want it. That doesn't make a good show. And that's why this show has not been successful.
I'm gonna say some of it was forced, some of it wasn't. I honestly wouldn't have known Stormy if it wasn't for the show, though. I wouldn't have either. But I think that's what made her a key component, and why I felt like after learning what she has, learning her story, and learning what she has built, they don't have, and none of them in here have a business that had made millions the way her business had. So I don't think I feel like they're all million. I feel like a lot of them are millionaires because of this show. I don't feel like it was like that before the show. She was a millionaire before the show, before she even got on it. So I just feel like I could much more see her on RHOA. Stormy might have been good on Bell Collective. Oh no.
I think Bell Collective needs to be canceled too.
Bell Collective, let me tell you that is like the EBT of like like seriously. The only person who she could compete with is Latrice. Like, I need somebody, I need levitations to this, okay? I don't need one rich woman and then the whole people that just making it 9 to 5s.
And
That
pretending to
doesn't
be rich.
yeah, and pretending it. Like, I don't need that. I don't need that. I need ladies who have all the same stature, all the same money. That's why Married to Medicine works well. Married to Medicine works well because they all equal playing field, all of them.
Except for
So,
Toya.
so for who? Oh
Except
yeah,
for Toya.
well, yeah. That well, of course. I mean, you have
They
an
make
exception to the
millions.
rule.
It's
They
just
make them.
Toya.
They just
They
don't know how to
spend them
keep them.
on everything but they bills. That's all. That's all.
I don't believe anyone outside of Melly's. Yeah, I don't believe that either. That's why when Marceau and Courtney, Stormy's husband, had that conversation, and he said that he helped Stormy build this $40 million business, and Marceau said, "Oh, I have a $50 million business." I looked at my screen and said, "Marceau."
Where? What? Maybe spend that. Lord,
I said, "Okay, well, why that house ain't built yet? Why?
by the
Why?
time
I
it's built,
mean,
the kid's gonna be grown and with their own.
grown and ain't no point of having it."
May as well be build wings because at this point, what? Why are you doing it so late?
Stormy's from Jackson's family. Yeah, she is. And I could see her on the show, but I just felt like for me, it wouldn't be like the sole purpose of Bell Collective is to show success or less thereof of these women. And I don't feel like their success matches her success. The only person who comes close is Latrice. So that's why I feel like for
Bell
me,
Collective is another show that probably needs to be switched up cast wise because people like Letitia gone somewhere. She don't match the mold. Like
none
Marie
of
has
them do.
Hamilton Davis. She's got a company that's doing well. Latrice has something, but yeah, Stormy. I guess she
But
could
then
do
we also have
something.
Tambra, which we don't understand why she even.
She shouldn't be on TV
Yeah,
nowhere.
yeah. Sweet Tea didn't fit, but she was there to be messy. Like that was Heavenly's gotcha moment to keep quiet on the show.
Sweet Tea was
That's
stupid.
and
She
that
came
was
on TV thinking she was gonna have a aha moment just for us to see that her husband still loved Quad. Because why is your man fighting his ex-wife's new man over the ex-wife?
that was for Quad. That was to keep Quad on the show. That's the whole purpose of being on Married to Medicine was to keep Quad. Y'all, I will be recapping Married to Medicine on my channel. So yes, y'all be here for that. Fine, Marceau, the business is bringing in millions, but how much are you actually taking home?
Shana,
I
his
don't believe
lawyers
it. I don't believe
for
$50 million.
NDAs left and right. If he do got billions, he's spending them on his hoes, not his family.
I don't believe that business is bringing in not no 50 million. Now, I could believe a million or two. I could believe that, but I'm not going to believe no $50 million. No, there's no way.
If he was
And
in a different state, I'd
yes,
believe it.
if
And
he was
that's
in
the thing.
California, yes, I would believe that.
Geographically, certain areas, just even with like a doctor in Alabama is definitely making far less than a doctor in Minnesota or Florida. Like the state that they're in the one city of that state that is doing okay economically. I highly doubt any of these people are making as much money as they try to portray it to be. And I think that's a piece of the problem too. But
Yes,
you know,
it is definitely
everybody
a piece
want
of
to
the
look like they
problem.
got more than they really have, and it impacts things. Not
No, yeah. So when he said that shit, I was like, "Come on, you talking a big game? You know damn
if
well."
you made $50 million, you'd be in somebody's magazine, you'd be an entrepreneur somewhere, being sought after. Ain't nobody checking for the Scots.
Hell, it took Tisha 6 seasons to get a new car. So what the fuck are we talking about here?
All
You
right.
got $50 million. She's driving the same car she had season one. Come on, let's not do that. Let's not do that.
Shut up, James.
No, I'm just saying. I pay attention to all the small details. I do. Quad still don't have a story. No, she don't. But they gonna keep her because at the
Quad's
end of the day,
Quad's storyline is based on the people like Simone who hate on her. Simone's
Yes,
so
I was
mad
just
at
gonna say that.
Quad that she doesn't realize you're giving Quad a storyline. The moment that Simone relaxes and stops worrying about Cecil and Quad, because I think that's really what's behind it. As soon as that happens, I
Yep.
think that Quad will have to go because she's not honest. She's not forthright. We don't get to see everything about her marriage. We don't get to see everything about her life. People have been questioning her relationship. We'll never really know what's going on, and nobody wants that because the Married to Medicine cast has been extremely open for the most part with their marriages, finances, debts, and I commend them all for that, with the exception of Quad. But Simone and her teeth are so angry. Maybe Simone can't see past her teeth because she's got an overbite, you see, and she can't see through her overbite that she is keeping Quad relevant and literally putting a check in Quad's pocket by questioning Quad, aligning with Sweet Tea. What? It's true. Because Quad does, and I'm a Quad fan. For those who don't like watch our Married to Medicine, James will tell you I'm a Quad fan, love Quad, but she's not married to Medicine anymore. She doesn't really have close relationships with anyone on the cast outside of Heavenly no more. But she's here because what did we see in the trailer and the teaser? Simone complaining about Quad for no reason. Until Simone and that mouth shuts up, Quad will probably be here. Simone's keeping her
You would
alive.
think, as smart as Simone is, she would realize that she's baited into
There's
doing
a
this every
difference between
season.
being smart and medicinal as it relates to obstetrics and gynecology and being smart when it comes to life. I always say that about a college degree, y'all, in my opinion, don't mean shit. It just means that those of us who have them are trained and depending on the type of your degree can be considered an expert in a certain field of study or trade. It doesn't mean that that same energy and critical thinking is going to transfer to other areas of life.
True.
That's why I hate when people get degrees and be trying to act like they better than everybody or know more than people because you don't. You just know more in a certain subject than some people. That's it.
Ooh, I don't know about this one.
I feel like Mariah deserves a second chance, but I don't think it'll ever work with the people still here. As
Yeah,
long
I feel like if she does get a second chance, she needs to revamp and do something with a whole new cast. Like I just, and here's the thing, I have a love hate with Mariah. I do the same way I have a love hate with Quad. They're the same people to me. They're the same person, pretty
yeah,
much.
that's why they was friends.
And that's why they were friends. And then the worst about each other they found out is what brought them apart. But I don't really think neither one of them, Quad or Mariah, should be back. I feel like the only people who really need to be on the show right now are probably the newbies because we ain't seen what they have, excluding Dr. Mimi, because I don't feel like she's gonna bring anything this season anyway. But I would like to see her get her fair
She's in
chance.
a lavender marriage. That's an alleged statement based on my personal opinion.
Yeah. So that's why I said I feel like with Married to Medicine, that whole cast for me, I feel like I can't wait to see. I don't remember if I liked Angel or not, and I don't feel like watching old episodes of Basketball Wives to figure that out. I don't really care. Her story though is interesting. What I read about her, very interesting. So I'm curious to see if she's going to talk about that or not. And
You know, Shayna, I feel like the way Mariah shades, she's so good at it. These other ladies are not the best at the shade. I feel like Mariah would do better on a housewives type
yeah,
platform.
she need to be on Housewives. It's not Married to Medicine. Like, yeah, her shade was funny. I still laugh to this day when she told Heavenly she need to pressure wash her house. I still fucking holler to that to this day. So for me, I get what you're saying, Shayna. I do feel like it is her show. I still feel like she had a great vision for it, but she needed to be on Housewives. She really did.
With
This is
her
not for
divorced
her.
friends, she do got a lot of them. Quad would actually do well on RHOA, but she got beef with Phaedra. But that would be good because
Yeah,
Phaedra
that will be actually. If
Phaedra
Phaedra can
don't
go to
do
Married to
well when
Medicine,
people
Quack can
call
go on
Phaedra.
RHOA.
Phaedra
Yeah.
like to shut down and walk away and act like she better than thou anytime someone has a beef. But
That actually would be good though, Shayna. I really feel like Quad do because she's friends with Portia and Pinky and who else is she friends with? Is she friends with somebody else too? Is it Shamia? But yeah, I would love to see her and Phaedra go toe to toe on RHOA. If Phaedra can go to Married to Medicine, Quad can go on RHOA. Why are we blurring the lines for Phaedra? And that's why I keep telling y'all they didn't know where to put Phaedra. They really didn't unless Candy left the show. So they were just gonna put her anywhere until they could figure out where they could put her permanently. Phaedra ain't going nowhere. It's a shame. The head doctor won, y'all. The head doctor won. So, But anyways, y'all, we're gonna get up off of here because I got to get to the grocery store and shit. Before it get cold and get dark. So I will see you guys. And my next live will be on my channel. They ain't ever doing that. That lady is the cause of Bravo winning an Emmy for a show that ain't even on their channel. They trust me, she ain't never going nowhere.
Phaedra is, I think, better suited for reality competition versus straight reality TV because she's never going to be interesting enough for straight reality TV. She's never going to be open enough. Exactly. But if you put her on something like House of Villains, Traitors, things like that, she'll do well, but I don't think she'll do well in any other setting.
I agree. But anyways, y'all, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Appreciate Mrs. Best for being here. We will see you guys tomorrow for RHOP because we know we got to read them ladies for filth. And we have the premiere episode of Married to Medicine on my channel as well. Thank you guys for being here, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.